guys, welcome back to my channel. Today in this video I'm going to be sharing with you a couple of finishes from July, work in progress, what I worked on in July, and an old quilt, and also some shopping hauls that reached to me in July. So if you want to stay tuned, I also have a giveaway at the end for a couple of things, so I hope you watch until the end. Hi, so in June I did show you a couple of finishes and a couple of quilts that almost finishes, so I didn't get all of them done. Of course, July was kind of fast for me. I did have a very busy July. We are still working from home, and I still have kids at home because we can't send them out to to daycare or to school, so I'm working and also caring for the little kids, so that kind of like take a lot of energy from me, and that's why I've been just not putting a lot of thoughts on my quilting, but I have been enjoying sewing along or quilting along because I don't have to put a lot of thoughts into that. I just kind of like follow what pattern the person is hosting, and that sort of like gives me some space to kind of enjoy my sewing without having to put a lot of thoughts to it. So I've been doing that in July, so I guess I'm going to show you a couple of finishes that I did finish in July, but there was a lot of things that I wanted to actually finish in July that I didn't get up to. Of course, a lot of the quilts that I showed in June was almost to the finish line, but it needed basting and also some quilting done, so I don't have that yet done, but I have them all here. All of these are ready to be quilted. I do have a couple that is already basted, which I did in July, so that was like a work in progress that is in July, moving things slowly to the end, and just one step at a time. And I did have a couple that is not yet basted, and I'm going to do the backing, put some labels on, and also do the quilting. Hopefully that will take quite a while, and hopefully that will be done by the end of 2021. Alright, I did have two finishes to share with you, but one of them is a secret project that I can't show you the whole quilt yet, but I'm going to show you a little bit of it, so that's a sneak peek. So one of them is just a small pillow. So in the mid of July, I kind of like felt like I didn't have anything finished, so I didn't feel like sewing because it was a busy start to July. And what I did was that, you know what, I'm just gonna pick a small project that's almost at the end, and I can have like an instant gratification knowing that I can finish something. So I did finish this pillow, and it's already been used, so there's a little bit of stain. I'm gonna show it to you. So this one was a part of Sew Sampler Box. This one was a part of Sew Sampler Box, and I actually did this with the leftovers, and I practiced some quilting on it, and then I just turned it into a pillow. Because I want it to be quick, I didn't even do the binding kind of way. I just do it like inside, so that's easy, and it was just an envelope backing. So that was pretty fast, and it did give me that satisfaction that I need. So now I'm using this already in the living space. My kids love pillows, they just like throw it around, that's why it gets stained easily. The other one that I start and finish in July was a secret project that I'm going to be sharing with you in the next month, because this is a pattern that's going to be free from Fat Quarter Shop. It's going to be one of their series of quick shortcuts quilts made from pre-cuts, and this one was made from mini charm pack. So I'm going to show you a sneak peek. So this is the finish, this is the backing, so this is what it looks like inside. I did have fun with the quilting, and this is the mini charm pack that I used. So I used the Moda charm pack of Robin Picken, so this is just some leftovers. So this is the fabric that I use for this quilt. The pattern is going to be available for free at Fat Quarter Shop in August, so wait for that. You are going to love it. I love making this. It was a quick project because it was using pre-cuts, and yeah, I started in July and finished in July, so that shows you how quick it was. I also made a label which I printed off, and I'm going to show you more of that at the end of this video. If you're interested, I also have a new course that's coming in September to teach you how to do this. It's beautiful. So what I did with this, I finished quilting it and I just applique it on top of the quilt. So that was the second finish of July. So mainly in July, I didn't get anything right at the end of the project, but that's okay because some days, some months are more productive than the others, and some months we're just moving it step by step. So that's what I did with most of the quilt. I did move it like a step further. I did have some progress on it. I'm happy with that. And I also cleaned up a little bit of the space just to have a new fresh start to August, and hopefully that I'll have more to actually share with you in August. So I'm going to move on to what is in progress, and I have a couple of fun things to share with you. The first one I'm going to share with you is a cross stitch project. So I'm back into cross stitching after watching all the Flosstube. I'm so inspired by all the cross stitchers out there doing all the Flosstube and what they share. Watching the Flosstubes is so inspiring to me. So I have cross stitched before when I was young as a teenager. I have a couple of cross stitching frames at home in my mom's house, but I've never cross stitched like for already almost more than 10 years or 20 even. So now that I see a lot of Flosstubers, I find that it's actually quite interesting to start again. And with all the new cross stitch patterns that's available, and you know, kind of like the trend, I think it's kind of fun to actually join in. So I started one small project. I know that I'm going to start really small. So this is the project that I'm working on. So I'm putting this in this, I made this project bag out of my practice free motion quilting sandwiches. So if you practice free motion quilting, you can actually hide all those stitches because you can't see it on the busy fabrics. So that's one of the secret. Anyway, I have a link to free motion quilting tutorials if you want to look at that as well. So I have started a project using what I have already in stash. So I'm using the 36 or 32 counts DMC that I have in stash. I know I don't cross stitch a lot, but I do still have a couple of cross stitch fabrics and also some threads, because you know, when I know that I love threads, I do embroidery using this thread. So I didn't buy anything new. I just kind of like collect the colors that I like, and I'm doing the pattern that is from the Quilt Bee book by Bonnie and Camille, and I'm just focusing on this part right here. So I'm going to show you that. So I'm doing this cross stitch pattern that is actually similar to the quilt. So I'm just going to do this part right here because it's pretty small and I want to turn it into a pin cushion or a cushion to just decorate with. And this is the same pattern. The pattern of the block is the same pattern as the quilt top that I showed in May or June. So that is why I decided to actually work on that, so they actually match. I have a matching quilt and a matching cross stitch to go with it. So I'm just doing this. I'm not using a hook. I used to actually cross stitch using a hook, but now that I see a lot of people just do it in hand, and I thought like you had to do it in a hook, but apparently you don't. So I'm trying that, stitching in hand. So that's one of the projects of cross stitch. So my second work in progress is something that I started in July as well, and I've just got 4 blocks to show you, and that is the winding ways. And I'm using the AccuQuilt Go cutter that I bought, and this one is the winding ways cutter, and that's what it comes with. It has a if you fold twice, like if you fold once, you'll get 2 blocks. So you have that. I'm going to show you. I am working with Smoke and Rust by Lela Boutique. So this is what I have so far. Now this was definitely challenging. Oh my god, oh my god. Hey, I'm not gonna lie, this was hard. And after a few practice, I think I got my method to actually get it done quickly and easily. And I'm gonna share with you once I got that a couple more times, right? So I'm going to be doing a couple more, and then once I'm comfortable with it, I'm going to share it with you, definitely. So I would just want to show you, it does not start very well. So I think I started with this one. I hated it because it just didn't match the center and it was wonky. And then I tried another method, lots of pinnings, and it still didn't work as well. And then I tried again, like another method, and then I kind of like perfected a little bit. It gets better, and hopefully that I'll improve with more blocks. But so far, I've seen like some of the images. I know that when I put all of them together, it's going to be, you know, it's not going, you're not going to focus on that center anymore, but you're going to look at the whole thing and it's going to be okay. So that's my motto, just keep going and just keep on practicing. So I am going to use all of this. I have the project right here. So I have the project that I'm working on right here on the side of the table. This is always been here because I kind of come to the sewing space and just do a little bit, and that's what's been, well, that's one of the things that I started in July, and hopefully that I'll get more done little by little. I'm thinking it's going to be a queen size quilt, and hopefully that it will be a queen size, unless if I give up in the middle, like, you know, sewing all the pieces or the curved pieces was hard, definitely was hard. All right, so next one that I worked on in July is the 100 blocks 100 days, but I'm not doing 100 blocks 100 days. I'm not doing a block a day, but that's basically what I'm saying. I'm just trying to keep up as much as I can, and this is using the kinship quilt pattern by No Angel, and she's hosting a 100 days 100 blocks kinship quilt along, so you can actually look at what she's doing with hers, which is amazing. I love all her fussy cutting, and I kind of like tried myself to do some fussy cutting in mine because I'm using Tula Pinks fabrics. So I'm actually excited to show you this. I'm going to show you this, what I'm working on. I'm already up to 12 blocks, but it should be already 30 blocks, so I'm like halfway way back. So I'm going to be catching up with this, but they are made of very simple patterns, so they're really fun to actually work on. So here are some of the patterns that I like. This is my favorite. So I try to kind of like incorporate all the stripes and all the dots in each of the blocks. So you can see I did some fussy cutting. Isn't that cute? The raccoon? That's really cute. Now the thing with Tula Pinks fabric, they're just very strong, and sometimes it's very scary to work with them. And I did kind of like feel my doubts, but I just like, you know what, I'm just going to have fun. I'm just going to cut it, you know, trying to figure it out, just put it together, and I think I love it so far. Now this is not my regular colors, that's why I have been procrastinating in working with them. So I have this in my stash like forever, and I didn't actually know what to do with them because they're so strong. So I love the fussy cut that I did on that. I even fussy cut these. If you can see, this is right at the center. So if I take this, it will be right at the center. Well, at least it's going to be at the center. So these are some of the blocks that I made. Look at that fox. That fox is so cute. This is a reprint of Tula's best collections, and she's done it in all these fun colors. And look at that one. This was my first one. It was so, like, I love the bug, and the colors just so bright and clashing. I don't know how it looked like together, but I've seen some of the blocks that some of the quilts that has been done in previous years, and I think it will look beautiful regardless of the fabrics that you use. The pattern itself is beautiful. So if you want to follow along, you can still hop onto the sew along, and you can still get the pattern at No Angels. I have a 10% off if you use the coupon Amira, and I'll put a link down in the description below so you can get the pattern as well. It's a beautiful pattern. It has I think a lot of pages, so I printed it off. You can also get a printed one as well. Now on the third work in progress that I just started in July as well is the Kaleidoscope Sew Along. So this one is also another sew along. So as I said to you just now early in this video, because I just don't have the mental space to kind of think what I should be working on, because I'm working from home, I have a lot of things to think, but I just want to keep sewing, you know, I want to do something. And having a sew along is really good for that, because you don't have to think much, you just follow along. And this is one of the sew along that I joined with Flat Quarter Shop as well. So this is from B. Laurie's. So Laurie Holt from B and My Bonnet. So this is her new book, which is Kaleidoscope, and this is published by It's Sewema. It has a spiral bound, which I love because it opens up flat, and I just love the colors in this quilt. It's so beautiful. I'm gonna show you the front page. So look at that, it's just beautiful, and it's just nice because you can open it flat. I'm going to show you there. So you can open it flat. It's easy to read your quilt pattern. So they are having a quilt along that makes a bed runner. So it's basically not a whole full quilt, but it's a smaller project, and I thought that was a great idea because a small project is always fun in between large quilts. So after finishing the Socialites quilt, I thought that was like really big. I wanted to work on something smaller, and this was the perfect one. So I've made my first 3 big blocks. So I'm going to show you that. So this is the color choice, the color I picked, and the fabric is Art Gallery Solid Pure Elements in these 3 colors, and the background is also Art Gallery Fabrics, which is Soulful by Maureen Cracknell. I just feel like this background sort of like matches the kaleidoscope theme. It sort of like breaks all that. I just love it. So it's autumny, fallish kind of theme. Absolutely love making this. It was a lot of pieces, but it wasn't that hard, and the pattern itself is like made simple so that you don't get confused, and it can easily be pieced together into this big beautiful kaleidoscopy block, which is amazing. I love big blocks. They just feel like a big accomplishment when you actually finish them. Okay, so that was some of the work in progress that I can show you, because some of them is just basically basting and binding, finishing up a couple of things on the quilt itself, but it's not yet at the finish line, so I can't show you anything. But hopefully all that little progress will eventually become a quilt that I can show you. Anyway, that's the process of making a quilt, right? So you have to enjoy every part of it, and I don't really enjoy basting personally, because I just feel like it takes a lot of things to get prepared. You know, I have to get the floors clean, or I have to prepare a table to just do the basting part. That's why I kind of like procrastinate in this July, because most of my quilts were like, it needed basting, so I didn't do that. But anyway, it got done. Like, I was pushing myself. One day, one morning, I just wake up, I think it was last weekend. So last weekend I woke up in the morning, I said, the kids are not up yet, I'm going to be basting. So I basted 3 quilts that morning. So that was really great. Now I'm going to share with you couple of things that I got in July. The first one is actually a basic, which I am trying to kind of like stack up more, because as I find myself joining so long, I do need to kind of like have a yardage of backgrounds, because I just feel like working with yardage is much easier rather than using some scraps. But it's always good to actually use scraps as well. So you can use low volume scraps for backgrounds, or you can have you can grab some of these during sale. So this is what I did. I grabbed this during the sale last month, which is in July. This is Blossom. So it's a great, cute basic. It has little flowers on it, so that's super cute. And I bought 2 colors, 3 colors actually, white, blue and yellow. So I've always wanted to make like that yellow background, the bright colored yellow like this. I just feel like I want to make a scrappy quilt but with a yellow background. That's like vintage inspired. And that's blue. The blue is also one of my common colors, so I think that was a great stash. And I also stack up on one of this. This is B. Laurie Halt's cross stitch, and this is just a white background. I also received this, which is a new cross stitch cloth that I want to try. It's pale grey gingham, and this one is going to be a cross stitch that I'm going to do from this kaleidoscope book. So in this kaleidoscope book, there is a pattern for queen, crib, and lap size quilt, and also a cross stitch pattern. I'm going to show you a cross stitch pattern in here, the one that I'm going to be working on. This is the cross stitch pattern that comes in the book. It's just gorgeous. I want to try and do that, but I haven't picked the colors yet, but I'm going to try and do it on this pale grey gingham. So that's what's going to happen in August. I hope I'm going to pick up some thread and just start that one, even though I haven't finished the other one. But it's always nice to kind of like have a couple of projects, because I get bored easily. I like to work on a couple of projects at one time, so that's the plan. I also received the book, Scrapbook of Quilts, which has tons of patterns in here. It's thick, and I've just been enjoying all the eye candy from this book. I haven't started anything, but I can see a lot of potentials of this project, which I'm going to be working on. I'm also enjoying all the sew along. They are doing a pillow sew along, so if you want to join along, I think they're up to the last pillow for this coming week, but then you can make all the pillows in here, and there's a lot of quilt patterns from here. I love Joanna Figueroa, Joanna, and also Carrie. So it's just gorgeous. It's just a good eye candy. And in May, I talk about my Liberty quilt, and I bought the backing. So I bought this from Amazon. This is Liberty print, and it was on sale. I think it was just $27 a yard, and this is 55 inches, 52 or 55 inches width, so it's quite big. So I didn't have to buy much. It was just a little over a yard to fit in my quilts, and I just need to baste it and do some hand quilting on it. So I just want to share with you what pattern did I get. So this is the pattern that I got. It's beautiful. I decided to go with like some of natural colors, because the quilt itself is full of colors. It's blast full of colors. So this is the quilt top, and that's the backing. So I think it's just like, you know, kind of like soothing the colors. I can choose any colors basically, because it was all scrappy from the front, so I think any colors would suit. I was going to go for pink, but then again I said, oh, I would like to go for natural, because I'm going to hand quilt it, and I don't want it to show out as much on the back. So if I was going to quilt it with white, I don't want to show it as much on the back. I just want it to be like neutral colors. So that's why I decided with that neutral color. So I'm excited with that, because finally I've made a decision and I got a backing for that. So that's fun and exciting. One step at a time. That's always my motto. So that is all with my haul. I do have a giveaway to share with you. So this week's, I'm excited to share with you a giveaway. The first one is going to be a quilt label. So I showed you earlier the quilt label that I made, and that is actually coming from a whole bunch of it. So I'm going to show you right here. So that came from here. So I cut that out here. I can actually cut all of this at one time, but I just don't want it to fray. So I made this quilt label, I designed them, and I got it printed. So this is a yard of printed quilt labels, and there's over 20 plus of quilt labels on here. That's going to last me quite a while. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a winner to win their names. It's going to be printed in a yard of fabric, and it's going to be sent to them, right? I'm going to print it for them, and I'm going to send the quilt label. So if you want to win the quilt labels, you just mention quilt labels in your comment down below, and I'll pick a winner in another 2 weeks. I'll have another video in 2 weeks and I'll pick the winner then. So, and I'll have it custom made, like I made your name. I'll make your name and the things that need to be on this quilt labels. Okay, so I have some of them, like just saying a couple of cute words. So I love making this, and I'm also excited to share with you that I'll have a course sharing you how to make this, so you can make your own. You can print it out as much as you need. You can print it out forever. You can share it with your friends. You can make it for your friends or whatever, but I'm not gonna like take orders because I just don't have the time to kind of like change the names, and that will be too time consuming for me. That's why I'm going to teach a course instead. So if you're interested in making the labels yourself and having that, you know, the ability to do that by yourself, you want to sign up, because right now I have it at a price where I'm going to run a beta run. So a beta run is basically when you get to go along with the course making as well. So I'm going to have the course starting in September, and you get to, you know, join in and do the course and also give some input so that I can actually improve the course itself before it's actually launching to everyone else. Once it's launching to everyone else, the price is going to be different, so you want to grab it now at a very low price. I'm going to put a link down below in the description where you can go straight to the course page where you can sign up there. Alright, so that's the first giveaway. The second giveaway I'm going to share with you is the Stripology ruler. I love this ruler, and they recently came out with a smaller version. So this is the mini squared Stripology ruler. I love this one, especially when I'm working with my Tula Pink 100 Days 100 Blocks, because I get to fussy cut using this. So I'm gonna probably put a link or a picture how I fussy cut using this, because there are lots of squares here. I can put my fussy cut in one of the squares. So if I'm going to cut 3.5, I'm going to put the fussy cut in 3.5, center it, and I can strip cut that and turn it around and strip cut the other way. It's perfect for fussy cutting, and it's also perfect for cutting fat quarters into strips. It's not as long or as big as the big Stripology ruler. This one is my favorite for cutting strips. I still love this as opposed to my Echo Quilt, because I just feel like it's so much faster to do it with this rather than the Echo Quilt Go. So this is still my favorite. So if you haven't got this yet, I'm gonna put a link down below as well where you can get the newer version, where you can get an extra large, which is bigger than this, and it has the square as well. So it's like two of these combined together. I love it. But this one I bought earlier on when they didn't get that, when they didn't have that yet. So I still love it. It's still useful. I absolutely love it, and I bought this one just for that purpose of that square things. Alright, so I have one of these to give away to you, to the lucky winner. So what you need to do is actually just mention ruler inside your comment, and I'll pick a winner in the next 2 weeks too. So I'm opening it to all international. I hope I can, you know, package this really well so that it doesn't get broken. Yeah, so I'll package it well so that it can send out to internationally anywhere in the world. Before I leave, I want to share with you an old quilt that I have here. So this is one of my older quilts that I've made, and I just want to share with you because I take it out from the cabinets because I was working with labels and I thought I had labeled this quilt. Yes, I did, because it went for a quilt show, like just a small quilt show, and I did label it, but it was an ugly label. I can't even show you. Here, let me show you. Oh my god. So that was the label on this quilt. I know it was a temporary label, but it stuck there. So I just used a ball pen and I just put my name on it. It was called Rainbow Wash Modern Medallion. So the pattern is by Raspberry Spool Quilt. I'll try and put a link if she still sells it. It's a beautiful modern pattern, and I made mine in Rainbow Wash. So I want to show you how it looks like. So that's how it looks like. Oh god. Yeah. So it's a Rainbow Wash quilt. I enjoyed making this with a lot of my scraps, and I just want to show you some of the custom quilting that I did on here. So I did custom quilt all that. this is an old quilt. I've used this a lot, so it has a little bit of stain here and there. So I did some feathers here, and I did some of these loops here, stipples, and lots of pebbles. You can see that. Oh my god, that was a lot of fun. Playing with free motion quilting on this quilt was a lot of fun. So the backing is also a fun one. This is a vintage sheet. Now I love vintage sheet as backing. So when I choose my backing, I usually feels like I need to budget a little bit, because I don't really like buying large piece of fabric just to put on the back. I just feel like it's a bit expensive for my budget. So I like to kind of like find a cheaper option. One of the ways is actually to get this fun prints from vintage sheet. Now I don't have access to that anymore, because in Malaysia you don't really have an estate that sell this kind of like things. You know, you don't have a second-hand shop that sells this thing. It's really hard to find, basically. But when I was in Australia, I would, you know, search for this on like at estate sales or like at garage sales, those things. This is fun one. I'm not sure whether I got this from one of the estate sale or probably from eBay as well. I used to actually go to eBay and kind of like look for these things. These days I don't, but I bet you it's still available on eBay as well. Probably I can do that again. But anyway, I love the backing. So it's just a fun backing. And for the binding, I use just a plain white to kind of like, you know, all the rainbow thing. And I think it was just nice to just bind it with white to just frame it all together. So that was a throwback. Alright, so thank you for staying with me to the end of the video. So if you want to join in the giveaway, make sure you leave a comment, and I'll see you again in another 2 weeks. Bye bye.